There we go. Yes, we have sound. That is all good. I am happy. We have a great guest for you tonight again. Just a couple of housekeeping rules. If for any reason Facebook disconnects us, go and find us on YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, oh, there we go. Richard Cole is the first comment. Richard wins. He has beaten Natasha. Oh, Natasha is the second comment. Well done, Richard. Richard is the king of the day. Sounds good, looks great, fantastic. That's what we say about you, Richard. So tonight's guest, Jeff Benink, is one of the world's leading experts in the field of hypnosis. He's a great guy. We met a few years ago in Las Vegas. And as many people have met in Las Vegas, it is a great place to meet and make new friends. He is a great guy. He's a fellow purple aficionado. We'll talk about that for branding. Wait, what do I win? Blame my needed 2-year-old. Richard Cole, you win at life. The person that wins the first comment, it's always about people being committed and giving it 100%. So if you're the first commenter, it means you are committed. So yes, getting distracted there. So he is a phenomenal hypnotist, stage hypnotist, corporate trainer. He does everything within the field. He is from the Netherlands, works the US market as well. He's currently back in the Netherlands. So please, if you have any, speaking of Jason. Oh, I don't know what that one means. We'll figure it out. So yes, please make some noise. We'll play this graphic. Have your questions ready and make our guests feel very, very welcome. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please, all the way from, I'll say the sunny Netherlands. I don't know if it is sunny at the moment, but please make some noise for Jeff Benink. He's going to be there. There he is.
Hey, good evening.
Hey, how are you?
Good afternoon. I'm fine. How are you, Grant?
I am good. Currently quite cold in the UK. I don't know what it's like where you are.
Cold and rainy.
Oh, well, there you go. It's good British weather, is that? It's a very British thing. It's a very British thing to do, is ask about the weather. It's something that we're always quite fascinated in. But it's one of the places like America, when we talk about it, for me, the geography of the states is massive. So I kind of know if they're on the West Coast, it's pretty warm. If they're on the East Coast, it's a bit cooler. And if you're in the middle, it's a bit of both. So I always kind of like to figure that out. So you've done some work over in the US.
Yep.
Whereabouts was that, and how did that come about?
It started all out with the Stage Hypnosis Convention in Vegas, where we met. There I was invited by Michael de Shellet to come to Heartland. That was a couple of weeks later.
Yeah.
I flew back to the Netherlands, grabbed another suitcase, and went back to the US.
Nice.
William Mitchell let me do a talk there. I met Rich Guzzi there, and I worked with Rich Guzzi for a time.
Nice. Rich is a great guy, such a fountain of knowledge on the comedy side of hypnosis as well, and really presenting that well. So great guy.
And so, that's how I got hooked on the US.
Yes. So hi, Jeff. It's nice to see you after reading your comments on here for so long. Oh, there you go. Natasha says hello.
Natasha.
So yeah, what was your first experience of hypnosis in general? How did you find out about hypnosis?
I worked as a sound engineer, touring with bands through the Netherlands, Europe, the world. And in the winter times, I worked in Germany doing sale fairs. Nice. And there was a stage hypnotist there called Pharaoh. He did shows, but I saw what he was doing with the dancers, people that had migraine, that he was doing on the side of the stage. And that intrigued me. So I started learning more and more about hypnosis. And when I had an accident a couple of years later, while I was working in a theater, I saw an ad from a school of hypnosis. And I joined and never left.
Nice. So when you say you saw Pharaoh doing things with the dancers at the side of the stage, you mean fixing headaches and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah. Just to clarify. Yeah. Yeah, do you know, it's weird. I mean, I've worked Germany myself a couple of times, but it's mainly when the British had troops over there, and they were always working with the British Army in Germany, they were always a handful when it comes to doing shows like that.
Army always a handful doing shows for.
Yeah.
Those are the shows that get out of hand really quickly.
Oh, I remember my first Army show. I think I was back in the day. I was doing like the hot and cold routines, as we all used to do, and still do. It's okay. And I remember doing that and just wasn't prepared for. I've kind of done this slow. It's getting hotter and hotter, and I've turned around and like 3 of them were like practically naked, and I'm like, right, this needs to stop now. So yeah, military dudes can go a bit nuts. Jason Morgan says greetings. So Jason is a phenomenal guy. In fact, a year ago today was mine and Jason's first Talking Funny Bits.
Wow!
So
already a year. No,
exactly. It's amazing. So we were talking earlier about the different markets. I know in Belgium, stage hypnosis is illegal or banned. I don't know what the correct terminology is. What is the Netherlands like? How accepting are they about hypnosis or stage hypnosis?
Hypnosis is more and more, people are more and more open to it. They are getting a lot of more people trained in hypnosis. It's getting more mainstream, but hypnosis shows are barely there.
Yeah.
People aren't open for it.
Yeah. I suppose it's one of those, if you're not aware of a stage hypnosis show, then you don't know what a stage hypnosis show is. I remember one time trying to explain to somebody what it was, and it didn't make sense when you explain what a stage hypnosis show is. So yeah,
there were some shows going on in the Netherlands that got really bad press, and that hurt us all.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, we had that in the UK for a while. And I suppose everyone's going to go through that process, and hopefully, through education and doing good demonstrations, that can change. Have you been in the Netherlands? Do you think the culture of smoking is a help or a hindrance to kind of the process of hypnosis?
That's a good question. It can help, but if people smoke too much,
yeah,
of course it hinders. They're in a different state already.
Yes, yeah. I was in Amsterdam a few years ago with a friend, and we were watching a guy who'd clearly had mushrooms. And my friend explained to me is that what hypnosis is like? And I was kind of like, on some level, I believe it might be. On some level, I don't know. But yeah, this guy was trying to catch by the canal. Yeah. So tell us about you've seen Pharaoh, you've done some training. Tell us about your first show.
My first show was at a little fair. I was not announced. I was a surprise. Oh. That's very bad for hypnosis. I will never do it again.
Yeah.
But they talked me into it. So I had 3 girls on stage and 2 real big dudes. And it was shivering with the microphone and trying to do an instant induction that didn't work at all. Oh. Make it a progressive relaxation.
Yeah.
And I got them under. It was a great show. Probably the show I learned so much.
Yeah.
Because I was giving suggestions. That didn't work, so I was sweating like a pig, but I made it happen in the end.
Yeah, and that's the joy of doing what we do, really. That sometimes we've got to pull a show out of somewhere, so you dig deep and do it, and you do learn the most from those challenging shows. Definitely.
Yeah, that's how I ended up in Vegas, just writing to the people that were organizing the stage hypnosis seminar. Hey, I'm from the Netherlands. I don't know what to do. And if I want to learn here something, I got to pay big bucks that I don't have.
Yeah.
But I want to know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And that's how I got invited and got my first show over there.
Yeah. Yeah, and a great conference it was too as well. It was nice to have so many people from all over the world. Like Andy Venin was there as well from Australia, and to have those group of people concentrated on stage hypnosis in one place. There's other conferences out there for hypnosis in general, but to just have it laser focus, really, it was a good event.
Yeah, the Heartland Hypnosis Conference has a stage track that is very informative. I spoke there last week.
Nice.
It has all the big hypnotists speaking and working together.
Yeah.
What I found here in the Netherlands, it's a little bit of elbow work. I'm doing a show now. I want it, so I go under your prizes. I don't like you because you do the same as me. And since the first day I came in to the US and met everybody, we made great friendships.
Yeah.
We call each other. We help each other write new skits, do shows together. Me and Andy are planning on, when everything opens up, go together through the US and do a show. It's so different than what we experience here in Europe, that we're fighting for our place. It's just a group of fun guys to be around.
Yeah, it's so much more open and accepted in the US as well. You don't have to convince people of the joys of a hypnosis show. They've been brought up with it in their schools as well. So, yeah.
I did a couple of college shows there. And when they end college, they got a stage hypnosis show in the end. So everybody knows what it is. I opened a clinic in Nashville, or in White House near Nashville. And people were very open. I didn't have to work as hard as I have to do in the Netherlands to get people in for hypnosis.
Yeah, fantastic. How was it? How was it working from the Netherlands to the US? If you know what I mean, was that a difficult process to break into? I mean, I don't know what the visa system is like in the US at the moment, but
that is a hard part, and it's really going back and forth and fighting to get the paperwork right.
Yeah.
Nobody knows which rules there are. That is stupid. You can't work on an ESTA, but an ESTA with a working visa you can work, but it's only permitted for a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And they change the rules all the time, so that was really hard.
Yeah. So what was your first show in the US like?
My first was a show in Vegas. Was my first show.
Nice.
And the second show was the most funny one. It was a Sweet 16. I never heard of it. Yeah, in a movie. But it's celebrating a 16-year-old birthday from a girl who is on her way to being an adult. And that was a crazy show.
Wow. Again, it's one of the things I find where, because in the UK, we're so restricted with regulations on ages of people. We can't hypnotize somebody under the age of 18. And you see some of the American guys, and the ages on some of the American stages is so much younger because, again, it seemed much more acceptable.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Eddie Duncan as well says, I love the Netherlands. He used to drive to Zwolle.
Zwolle. That's where my office is. That's where I live there close by.
Oh, brilliant.
You're always invited for a cup of coffee, Eddie.
Oh, don't say that. You'll not get rid of him. So what were you doing just before COVID? I mean, I know I was the last show I did. I didn't know it was going to be my last show. I kind of came off stage and then everything cancelled after that. Were you in the US? Were you in the Netherlands? What was happening?
I was just back in the Netherlands to see my family and planning on going back. And then COVID hit. I was planning on doing my show in the Netherlands, my first show in the Netherlands since a long time, a theater show. And yeah, everything got canceled out. Shows in the US canceled because I couldn't travel.
Yeah.
The prom times make a lot of the shows you do in a year in a really condensed time. Yeah, everything went away. And luckily, I had my office in Zwolle that I closed down for the US, that I could go back in it. A good friend of mine let me use his office until I could find a space of my own. And it was in the same building, so people were familiar with it. Wow. And now I'm looking to go back, but we don't know whenever it's possible.
Yeah. It's I know here in the UK we're looking at I think it's the 17th of March is our next big announcement, and then 21st of June I believe is when everything's supposed to be back to normal. How that's going to work out with Europe and the rest of the world, I don't know, especially with America.
For America, there's really nothing. I just read that people from America can come into the Netherlands from June on when they are fully vaccinated.
Yeah.
But the other way around, there's nothing yet. So.
Yeah. I know they had a tough time of it at some point, but I know there's parts of America that are just open. They're doing shows. Everything seems normal. Richard Barker posted a live from Florida, and he was on the front in a venue where there's a band on. There's people dancing, and it was like at that time we were in full lockdown here in the UK, and I'm like, how is this possible?
I know it's just a question mark.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah,
and never went into a severe lockdown there. At least not around Nashville, Tennessee, that I know of.
Yeah,
and some parts are really closed down, but
yeah. Roy Miller says, good evening. Good evening, Roy. Hope you are well. So you must have seen some crazy things over the years in different continents. What's the craziest thing that's happened to you?
Oh, that's a good question. One show, we have a language problem. I'm Dutch. UK English differs from US English.
Yes.
In some words.
Yeah.
And I was doing a fair training with Jim Wand. It was a 7-day fair, 3 shows a day, doing street hypnosis. It was fun. And there was a magician who had those folding balloons.
Yeah.
And he was popping them after his show. And, you know, as we say here, oh, someone's shooting. You can't say that in the US. Security doesn't like it.
Yeah.
With all the school shootings going on. So that gave me some trouble.
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that.
Language things that you give somebody a suggestion to do something and he do something totally different.
Yeah. Yeah, there's especially in the US, it's so similar but so different that something that we think, you know, means one thing means something completely different out there as well. So yeah.
And at the same fair, doing a show while the rock band Hailstorm is sound checking across the stage. That was hard.
Yeah. Richard Cole says, Ollie Bollen is the universal language for yum.
That is some bakery we eat at New Year's.
Ah, right.
It's a bowl of dough with raisins.
Oh,
and that's really good.
Nice. So you say you were putting together a theatre show for the Netherlands. How was that going on? You know, were you putting stuff in place for social distancing in there? How has your show changed because of the current situation?
I'm not doing any shows at the moment because the theater show changing for social distancing is really hard.
Yeah.
But you got to think about it. If we go ever back to the normal way we did shows. So I took my old show, Brain Travels. It's about a crazy holiday. And I rebuilt that so it's totally capable of social distancing.
Nice.
The theater show isn't as much as a road chair show. It's about a casino where everything goes wrong. So it's more interaction with the audience and changing your subjects rapidly.
Nice. Nice. What was the thinking behind putting together a show that kind of tells the story like that, rather than the traditional row of chairs, skit, skit, skit?
I have a background as a sound engineer and working in theater, with theater. The rows of chairs, I think it's nice when you have it at a fair or at a festival. If you want to work in a theater, it's very static. It can be great, but it doesn't catch the people in the Netherlands so much. Maybe because it's static. So I wanted to try if I could make a real theater show out of it.
Yeah, no, it makes sense, and it's definitely a gap in the market as well. I think it's one thing that stage hypnosis suffers from a lack of, is stage production and that production value that goes into a show. We had Patrick Picard on a few months ago, and the level of production he puts into his show is it's amazing. And I love the clouds he has kind of suspended from the top of the stage as well. And I think by doing what we do, yes, we can just use the volunteers to create a show, but the more levels we can add to that, the better the production, the more value the audience gets.
We are the director of the show we do. It's not about us. It's about our volunteers. And we all know the shows. We sit them in a chair. We do the hot and cold. We do the bad smell, good smell.
Yeah.
We all do the same skits. I want to tell a story. Brain Travels uses hot and cold, but it's about a journey.
Yeah.
It's a holiday where everything goes wrong.
Yeah.
And where you shine and you take selfies with the people in the audience.
Yeah.
Because they are the famous people you see at your holiday address.
Yeah. It builds context and makes it more immersive.
And in my theater show, it's heavily based on music. So there's only a little silence in the whole theater show.
Nice.
But we use a lot of standardized skits that are rebuilt for theater. So we do the fashion dolls, but it's story about it's on a song. It's about I want to have that girl, but she's never gonna be mine.
Yeah.
And I play it with the audience, but I control the girls on stage in Hypnosis and use them as fashion dolls.
Yeah. I like it. Like you said, it makes it a show rather than skits.
Yeah, that's what I hate by a lot of hypnotists. Or hate is not the wrong word.
No, I know what you mean.
I think we can make such a great show with the gift we have using hypnosis. And if I see school shows, people doing, I do this skit. There's no story. You're looking like advertisement on TV.
It's just going from one extreme to the other. Yeah. I must admit, I'm a firm believer in, a lot of the show, a lot of the real comedy that comes from a show doesn't come from the skit. It comes from the bits that sew the skit together. It's the bits in between, the shadow from the light that really make the show put together. So yeah.
And I think you shouldn't be afraid to put in your callbacks way early in your show so you can have them woven into all the skits.
Yeah. And it's, in my experience, those callbacks are some of the funniest parts of a show, because just when people forget that it's there, the trigger happens, the person responds, and it brings that comedy straight back into it as well.
I did it one of the first times I did Brain Travels in a theater. I had a lot of kids on stage.
Yeah.
4 or 5-year-olds.
Oh.
What do I do with them?
Yeah.
I make them the hypnotist. Only thing they did was talk to each other and point a finger at somebody to hypnotize.
Brilliant.
They were the star of the show.
Yeah.
You can't always predict what's going to happen on your stage, and you got to work with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking of which, we always ask this as well. And we've all had them, but what's been the most challenging or the worst show you've ever done, and what did you learn from it?
The most challenging show was the one with the little girls. It was I had, I think, 12 people on stage, kept 10, of whom 4 were little kids.
Wow.
3 were not usable at all. It was a hard work.
Yeah.
But the presenter of the show, it was at a body paint fair.
Oh.
He was a great subject. So all the major skits he did. He used his shoes to call with Rihanna, who was waiting on him at the airport, and he wanted to leave the fair. So we had great fun, but it was really hard work.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's when you learn to be able to do a good show with one good subject, you know you've always got that in the bag. And from then onwards, anything else is a bonus.
Yeah, I think when you start out in stage hypnosis, I went with guys in Vegas to Fremont Street.
Yeah.
I think it was Derek Watkins that said to me, "Go ahead." And I didn't know what he meant. It was the first time for me being on Fremont Street. Oh, go hypnotize people. Out on the street? What do you mean? If you can do it here, you can do it everywhere.
Yeah.
And it's true.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid.
The first time on Fremont Street, there's some weird sights on Fremont Street.
And you shouldn't be afraid when you do clinical work to put stage hypnosis in with your clinical work as a convincer. What I do when I work with younger people, I stick them in the chair.
Yeah.
After the hypnosis session ended, when they want to get up, they're not. They look weird. Oh, what's happening? I can't get out of my chair. No, you didn't pay me yet.
Yeah.
It's a convincer.
Yeah.
And that is what people tell around.
Yeah, and I think a lot of, I don't know what it's like in the Netherlands, but I think in the UK, a lot of hypnotherapists suffer from not doing that. I think a lot of people can sometimes come away from the therapy room, and in their mind they go, "I was relaxed. I don't know if I was hypnotized." If you can give them that convincer, that profound experience, it validates the whole experience before it. And it doesn't have to be massive phenomena, but just to give them something, and they go,
levitation. It's
exactly.
Easy to do.
Yeah.
What I do with elderly people that are really nervous, I just do a progressive relaxation. And when they're up to it, I do an arm levitation.
Yeah.
Even if it's an inch.
Yeah.
But I would like to let them hit their forehead so they've done it themselves.
Yeah. So it leads me into my next question. Do you think knowing the stage stuff and the stagecraft as well as the stage hypnosis, do you think that benefits your therapy practice and your corporate speaking work?
Yeah, definitely. When I do stage hypnosis, I fill up my own schedule or somebody else's schedule. I always, when I do a show, I look at the internet. What stage or what hypnotist, clinical hypnotist is working near there?
Yeah.
Do it in the US, I do it here. Because if people want to stop smoking, it's easy to do after a show, but that's not what I'm there for.
Yeah.
And I hate the upsell. I think it takes away from your show.
Yeah. It's one thing I've always struggled with is the back of room sales and that type of thing. But I think that's the Britishness in me. So
I had a problem with it too, but I do back of the room sales, but I don't sell a stop smoking CD.
Yeah.
Or weight loss or something. I sell a t-shirt from my show.
Yeah.
I sell necklaces from my show that has logo on it. And on the other side, it's the purple swirl that I use in my show.
Yeah.
But I'm not. People are having a night out, and I was listening to Penn Teller's of Penn Gillette's podcast today, and he goes really into it. When you have a night out, why should you sell stop smoking CDs?
Yes. Yeah.
It's good business, but not my choice.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're right. You want the last the lasting memory to be on an entertainment point of view, not a sales demonstration on weight loss or smoking.
Now, sometimes you have shows that people take 15, 20 minutes for their sales pitch.
Yeah.
And that
think
rubs me kind of wrong.
Yeah, for me, it takes away. The end of a show needs to be your finale. It needs to be that big finish, boom, job done. Yeah. Not, and now look what else we can do. So yeah, but that's just my personal choice, if you know what I mean. So yeah, you do corporate presentations. How does that work? Do you incorporate hypnosis within that, suggestibility tests?
Yeah, I start out. I have a couple of different trainings. I do sales training. In the sales training, especially for call centers, I work a lot with a lot of them, car dealerships. Just letting people know that you don't have to be afraid to ask for a sale.
Yeah.
And if the organization isn't well tied together, working with the car dealerships, the guys that run the showroom get all the parties. They go out to dinner with clients, they have all the parties, but the guys in the mechanics in the shop, they are the ones earning the money.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of times is there a disconnect. And then it's, oh, my boss only loves the guys that sell cars and not us.
Yeah.
And then I build a show in, we do some suggestibility tests, and I get the owner of the shop in a chair and hypnotize him.
Nice.
And see, with asking questions, doing little skits, see who are the important people for your company. And you see the change in the atmosphere in the company in a couple of days, because he chooses his people and not the money. Yeah. And he chooses the ones who work hard. And a lot of times they, after they have the business presentation, it becomes a show later in the year.
I think it's a great platform to promote stage hypnosis in a positive way. Kind of the corporate demonstrations and workshops, the street demonstrations, done right and done well, are a great way to promote shows. Because I mean, I don't know what it's like in the Netherlands, but in the UK, we had kind of a bad reputation for stage hypnotists. And you said a couple of guys gave stage hypnosis a bad rep in the Netherlands as well. You know, the more we can bridge that gap between the corporate world and the stage, the better it is for everybody, really.
And I think when you do stage hypnosis, it isn't hard to do when you know what you're doing. But don't be somebody that does the same skits over and over that everybody does. Try to find some uniqueness in it. What I do, I work with a lot of people, people from my advertising company that I talk with. What do you want to see? When one of the training bureaus, we sit down. He's a comedian. What do you want to see in a show? When I talk with a company or a client, I sit down with them. What do you want to see? What is the trouble? When I do a school show in the US, I contact them beforehand. What is going on this year? Yeah, we were getting a new theater. It's not happening. Okay. What else is going? Yeah, one of the kids died from an overdose of drugs. Okay, we're not going to do any skits related with those things. Tailor your show to your client.
Yeah.
It's easy to do, but it's that much extra gives you a client for life.
Yeah. And it's exactly that. It's asking the client about what are their needs and their expectations, and then delivering that. It's like you say, it's a small piece of effort that makes a big difference, really.
Yeah, I think when you look at we're from Europe, and when we're doing shows in the US, the music is different. What we think is great, it's not a radio version.
Yeah.
I'm from the Netherlands. We're very open. We don't get beside ourselves when we see a boob.
Yeah.
When you say boob, at a school show in the US, you're in trouble.
Wow.
Because it's not the right rating.
Yeah.
The PG R-rated shows, it's hard.
Yeah.
For us Europeans to know what is happening and what we can do. So make sure your show is as clean as it can be. Oh, music-wise, because when you use R&B music,
yeah,
you can only use the radio edit because there's cussing inside. Or
there's a song. There's a song at the moment that's around. I'll not say which one it is. And even in the radio edit, it has a line in it that should not be in the line. But it gets past because no one knows what the line says. And it's only when you realize what it is. And it's just when I hear it now on the radio, I listen for it and you can hear it clearly swearing and being quite vulgar. But because of the way it's presented, nobody has noticed it. And I think it's quite hilarious. But yeah, it's only when someone points it out to you that you notice it. And I've had something similar happen to me when I was playing background music in an interval to a show, when someone's gone, oh, you know, this song says this. And I'm like, no, it doesn't. And then you hear it and you're like, oh, it actually does. So yes, it's got to be careful.
I started my brain travel show out with Drew Hill at the start because I like the rhythm, but never heard the song. I'm not going to tell you which song it is, but you already know. What about eating an ice cream?
Yeah, Natasha Stanley says there, are you talking about Poker Face? I'm talking about Poker Face, Lady Gaga. Everyone thinks it says that it says Poker Face repeatedly. It doesn't. It says something very different. And it's not one that you listen to it and think, oh, does it say it? Does it not? It actually does say something different. So what's your goal? What's your next big goal within the hypnosis world? Is there another country you want to work? Is there you want to go back doing Vegas? What's next for you?
Next, I hope to be able to go to Hypnothoughts. I have done research for the past 3 years with Parkinson patients, how to make their life better. And my research is done. I'm presenting it at Hypnothoughts when I'm able to go. I still have an invitation from Andy Venning to come to Australia, and that's something I really want to do.
Yeah.
And I'm working with a couple of other artists to collaborate on a show. I can't tell much about it, but it will be all kind of different things, where it's got to be a mixed show with magic, song and dance, hypnosis. It's just one evening of entertainment based on an old burlesque show.
Yeah. I was talking about something similar to a friend. Do you know vaudeville?
Yeah.
The old vaudeville style shows, there's just, I suppose the closest thing we've got to anything like it now is like America's Got Talent or Britain's Got Talent or whatever. Those mixed variety shows, but done with so much depth and costume and theatre. But yeah. The problem in the UK we have with stuff like that is all the good artists that make shows like that work are very difficult to book for small parts, if you know what I mean. So, yeah.
There's only a small bit of water between us. So,
yeah, we
can always see what we can do together.
Yes. Well, I was supposed to be, I'm sure you might have been on the same conference, actually. HypnoBiz Amsterdam was supposed to be, was that last year?
Yeah, last year.
That was last year. So I was supposed to be on that as well. I think you were on there.
I was on.
Yeah. So, but yeah. Hey ho.
It will get back someday.
It has. I mean, it has to. I mean, for Hypnothoughts, like I said, for the past 2 years, something's always happened, and I've had to cancel at the last minute. So this year, I've not booked anything. I'm just going to see where we're at travel wise. If I can make it, I'll make it. If not, then it'll be next year.
It's a great conference, and if you have a chance, try to get to the Heartland Hypnosis conference too.
Yes, well,
a lot
William,
of stage hypnosis brothers are there, but the clinical part is really good too.
Yeah, well, William Mitchell was on the show a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, a great guy, and a great conversation as well about the correlation between stage hypnosis and kind of the evangelism and kind of spiritual side of stuff. So that was quite interesting. So I'll say, if you were to give yourself a tip, a lesson that you've learned along the way in your journey, if you could go back and give yourself a shortcut, what would that be? What would that bit of advice be to yourself?
Be confident. I was afraid to do an induction because I didn't know if it would work, because I couldn't do it. If you do it once, you see it works. And never forget to keep learning.
Yes.
I'm doing this for over 10 years and I'm still taking courses, reading books. Even with shows, I try to evolve.
Yeah.
In my new show, I'm giving people characters. Let's say you're Jim, you're Anne, you're Paul, and when I snap my fingers, you're the next person.
Yeah.
So you can do a skit and people change figures, who they are in a story. That's hilarious, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
And you only know if it works when you try.
Yeah. And I think that's one of the things that we suffer from a lot within the stage hypnosis community is once we learn how to do a show and how easy it can be, we leave it there. When it becomes to putting in more effort and more work, we tend not to do that. So, and I do think effort does pay off.
Yeah, and never be afraid to make a mistake. I did a show in Port Washington, beautiful school near a lake. It was beautiful, and they had a sound equipment, everything ready for me, so I could fly in. Yeah, the wireless microphone was connected to the ceiling speakers, and one of the dads had 2 speakers with Bluetooth in it, and I could use that for my show. I use extended range Bluetooth receivers, but they were only going a short amount. I couldn't leave the speakers.
Yeah.
Or my music dropped. I didn't know. Then you gotta, and my show is heavily based on music, so you gotta make it up.
Yeah.
And always combine your client in it.
Yeah.
One of the parents of the school was hiring me for the gig. We did a dance competition. They all got to dance with her. I had to figure something out. That bought me a couple of minutes to fix the audio problem.
I always say doing a stage show when something goes wrong technically is like juggling chainsaws. And in your mind, you're trying to distract the audience on this hand by giving them something to do. And on the other hand, like you said, you're trying to figure out something else on this side.
We do like pick.
Exactly. It definitely keeps you on your toes. If you were to recommend 2 books for either stage hypnosis or the business side of hypnosis that have been beneficial either to you or to your career, what would those be?
Of course, the most of the books you are already mentioned.
Yes.
This is the Jeff Benink Stage Hypnosis Guide.
Yeah.
Was the first book I had on stage hypnosis.
Wow.
Has a lot of deep insights in how to build a show.
Yeah.
That's one I liked. And a new one I got is from Rory Z. If you're starting out in stage hypnosis.
Richard Cole says, "Hey, I'm in that book." I don't know which one he means, whether he means Richard, do you mean Rory's book or the Jeff Benink's book?
Let's see what he says.
Exactly. It's got to be Jeff Benink. Oh, the running one. Oh, I'll have to have a skim through. and find you, Richard.
Me too. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you got the other known ones.
Yeah.
Still my favorite.
Do you know what? I always say there's certain books on stage hypnosis that are written by people that have technical knowledge, and there are books on stage hypnosis written by someone that has clearly been there and done it.
Yeah.
And Terry Stokes's book is that book. It is an amazing book on stage. As a stage hypnotist reading it, you can tell it's not classroom stuff that is saying, it's real life stuff. It is a great book.
And Terry is a great person.
Yes.
Always open to teach people things.
Yeah.
He's a great friend.
Yeah, great guy. He was on the show a couple of months back. Absolutely, yeah, a gentleman and a hypnotist as well.
I always call him the Frank Sinatra of hypnosis.
Yes, absolutely. Richard has a whole chapter. Oh, there we go. You see,
I know what I'm going to do tonight.
That's it. Brilliant. Well, Jeff, thank you very much for coming on. Do you have any trainings or anything coming up that you're offering to people?
I'm always open to if somebody wants to chat, somebody wants to know something, just shoot me a message.
Fantastic.
If you have any questions about staging and the technical side, the audio side of, I can help you with it.
Fantastic. Well, your website's at the bottom there. Jeff, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on. Hopefully everything will open back up again soon enough, and hopefully our paths will cross again, either at a conference or in the Netherlands or who knows where.
Let's make sure we meet again, and we.
I must admit, you are probably the closest hypnotist that I have interviewed. To be fair, if you're only in the Netherlands, it's kind of like I probably could have walked.
You will get your feet wet.
Yes. I'm not a strong swimmer. Brilliant, Jeff. Thank you very much. Roy Miller says thank you to us both.
Thank you. It was an honor to be on here. And thanks for everything you do for the stage hypnosis world. It's something we really could need, and you gave us the opportunity to learn more from each other. Oh, well, thank you. It's, we are a small community as such, and we are all in this together. So, yeah, fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Jeff. And from me, take care and good night. Everybody, good night. Thanks, Richard, Natasha, Roy.